Welcome to Sips and Dad Tips, episode 13. It's been a very long time since the last episode, and there is a very good reason for that. We'll talk about it in a second. But the big news is we've had another kid. So I'm a father of 3 now rather than 2. So little baby number 3 is about 3 weeks old at time of recording. So we're going to open this 18-year-old Chivas Regal blue, good gold signature edition. Looks great. Hopefully it's delicious. So this is a special occasion. We're just going to crack this open. Why not? One of these days. What the? Why is this sealed? Why is this sealed so well? All right, we can peel this off. All right, so we can just smooth. Ooh. Bit of corking in there. So, cheers. Congratulations to everyone involved. So yeah, wifey did phenomenally to bring number 3 into the world. So right around the last episode's release, around about that time, is when we found out that we're expecting a third. And I wanted to talk about it, as soon as we hit that maybe 12-week mark, when you start telling people, I was maybe going to start talking about that and preparing for the next stage of our parenting life in becoming parents of number 3. Getting outnumbered, going from 2 kids to 3, I heard is actually not as hard as going from 1 to 2. But yeah, we suddenly become outnumbered. And so it was exciting. And I really wanted to talk about it and share it on the podcast. Unfortunately, when it came to some of the routine checkups and scans during the pregnancy, we were alerted that there might be a problem. And when you hear might be a problem, your brain automatically hears there is a problem. There's going to be a problem. Everything's bad. Everything's terrible. So there was a scare with some of the scans coming up that there might be a problem area in the brain of our, at the time, 16-week-old, 20-week. And there was a very hard time around then. We had to basically wait almost a month, maybe 6 weeks, I think, until we could get another scan. It was a developmental thing that we thought, a section of the brain might not be developing at all. Turns out it was just sort of like needed a few extra weeks for it to come through on the scans and show that it was there. But at the time of finding out that, we couldn't see it, we had to go back for scan after scan. And it was kind of like not knowing for the longest time really took away a lot of the magic that you sort of feel around the time where you start telling people that you're expecting and things are going well and all that. Things weren't going well. And we kind of didn't know how to talk about it with anyone. We kind of didn't want to talk about it with anybody or even tell anybody. It just felt like, what happens? All the unknowns, like if there is a problem and will birth be an option? Will it not be able to survive? Will there be another 30 years of taking care of somebody who's going to have, issues taking care of themselves for the rest of their life, the rest of our life? What would that look like? And sort of, it was hard to have that sort of talk, those conversations with each other and with the hospitals and the doctors and all the people that we were seeing at the time. And it was really the wait, like I said, about 6 weeks before we got the all clear that wifey had to go through a few extra scans and, an invasive needle to I can't remember the name on top of my head now, to take a lot of the genetic tests just to have sort of like a backup to the scans that you could say, look, genetically it's okay, scans are okay, both okay, everything's okay. But yeah, it was that 6 weeks where you don't, having that experience of the third after the first two kids, where the first two, all the scans went smoothly and everything went, from point A to point B, and it took its progression. With this one, it was sort of like we weren't used to hearing that there would be an issue. And I don't know that many people would. There are some people obviously out there that have a lot of complications with things, so it's hard and it's very, very scary feeling, because especially as a dad, even as a mum for wifey, there's nothing you can do. There is nothing, you think about, oh, could we have done something different? Is it something from my genetics that has made this happen? Is it my fault? Or the worry is that there is literally nothing you can do to help or find out, or like there's nothing to do. And it's weeks of going through an absolute blender. It was a very dark time, and I considered maybe talking about it on the Sips and Dad Tips podcast, but I didn't want to feel like I didn't want to talk about it, even though, it might have been helpful to. I just didn't feel like it, and I didn't want it to come across like I was using that as a talking point to talk. So, especially like the unknown of maybe things wouldn't have turned out okay. Starting, an episode saying, hey, I'm going to be a dad. And then like a few months later, who knows what kind of news it would have been, like terrible. So kind of wanted to avoid that. I felt like I could have maybe spoken about other things, but I really just wanted to focus on spending time with my wife and the kids, and, even other projects that I had going on really took a back seat to just the mental load. Like, even though I wanted to concentrate on other things or focus on other things, I couldn't have that concentration. Just worrying and thinking like 24/7 for weeks at a time. But thankfully, like I said, we got the scans, everything turned out well. And a few other minor things, there might be an issue, but no, it's not too bad, nothing to worry about. Paled in comparison to that 6 weeks of doubt. And I don't wish anybody to go through that. And, if I'm sure there's many people out there who have gone through all kinds of different horror stories. And I guess, like I said, the hardest part is not knowing and just having to wait. But thankfully we made it to the end. Wifey, like I said, was an absolute champion, and I'm still mind blown how things can happen in a birthing suite, and how quickly this one was very quick. I was scared, even more so on this one, probably more than the other pregnancies, even the first one, because this one was super quick. I thought it was going too quick, and something like it wasn't right, because it was a 30-minute active labor, and I thought wifey was pushing. They didn't even say. Usually they would say, okay, you can start pushing, or there's this far dilated, or the timing of the contractions is this. They didn't say anything. We kind of like went from 0 to 100. Wifey started pushing, and I was like, why is she pushing? There's no way she should be pushing right now. And looking over at the midwives and nurses, and they were just chilling. We're just looking at each other like, yeah, like this is happening. And that was it. 30 minutes later, out comes a little girl. So now I am a father of 2 boys and a little girl, and the first couple of weeks is an adjustment again. We've had no sleep. She's been okay, to be fair. But yeah, it's been interesting. Trying to think about, can I start talking about this stuff now? Is it worth talking about? Will it bring up, hard topics and previous traumas for other people listening to this? And I hope it hasn't. But if you do want to start venting about that, I'm around. is actually quite smooth. Very smooth. So yeah, now we'll be talking about a lot more newborn stuff again. It's going to be fresh. We've been doing nappies, girls and boys nappy changing. So different. I've heard about this, but it is really detailed and backwards because you got to wipe front to back, not back to front. You can get away with that with boys. Not so much now. And it might be because we've already experienced it twice before, but even just dealing with the no sleep and getting back into, I mean, we've had no time to sort of, I remember the first two, the world kind of shut down for us for a couple of weeks, or like we would lock ourselves in the house to try and acclimatize. You know, we're struggling with the sleep. We're struggling with learning what to do, the routine. The house is a mess. But I feel like because we've already got two boys who are in school, there is no time to just stop because things keep on going. Life, activities, school, kids' parties, weekends, other projects for, you know, the house and backyard are still going. So we've got to stay on top of everything. So it's been, I think because we're experienced in dealing with the first two, it's made it a lot easier to deal with, like I said, the bottle feeds, the expressing, the lack of sleep, how you function on the lack of sleep. It's one thing saying, yeah, I remember being tired all the time, but when you're actually in it, you don't remember how tired you actually are. Luckily enough, our boys are two very beautiful and gorgeous kids when it comes to helping out and being attentive and understanding. And I did, you know, a couple of days before we were due to go in for the birth, I did explain to them that, hey, mum and dad are going to be very tired with trying to take care of the baby all night. It's going to be crying and we're not going to know what it's like. We are going to be probably a little bit more grumpy than normal, but please don't think that we're upset at you for anything. Sometimes we might get upset at a small thing we wouldn't normally get upset at, and just please understand that we're sorry already and to hopefully understand. And they were great with listening to that and actually understanding that. They're at an age 7 and 8 where I think they sort of get it a little bit more, that we can be upset at things and not because of them. And they're great with helping. They're down to give her a kiss or a cuddle if they need to. You know, can you guys grab a nappy? And they'll bring it straight over. They'll help with a bottle here and there, and just general getting a towel for us or whatever we need. They're just amazing at helping, and I couldn't be more proud of them. It's amazing to see them all together. Just even if we're all just sitting on the couch, just looking over and seeing that there was 3. And to be honest, I never thought that we would have 3. I never thought that I would be a father of 3. I didn't think I wanted 3, and I was happy with 2. And that might be another topic for another video, because we had to have some very hard conversations about, one of us wanted 3, one of us wanted 2. And that is probably maybe a video in itself. So it's great to be back. I can't promise any sort of schedule. Okay, I'm all over the place. We're starting to get more of a functionality happening. I can function again. I can do things. I can talk to a camera for a little bit. But yeah, so if you do have any topics or things you want to talk about, again, let me know. Links in the description. I would love to hear from anybody. I appreciate you guys who are out there saying that you want to see another video out of me. That made me feel so nice. It was great to hear that there are people out there who are watching these that either enjoy them or just want to hear me talk for a little bit. I love you guys. I appreciate you. I hope to see you guys in the next one. Leave a like. Do all that. You know what to do. But yeah, my name is Mingus. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope to see you guys in the next Sips and Dad Tips episode, whenever that is. Hopefully it's not going to be another couple months. Let's say a few weeks at the most. I'm not going to promise anything. Okay. I love you guys. Goodbye.